I'm sure all of us here know what EWIT is, but it is customary to start with a little bit about who we are and what we do. So I will stick to the custom and go through a few slides on who we are. About EWIT. So we were conceptualized and established in 2006 as a women's forum by a group of We have 3 objectives. First one is for expanding the women workforce at all levels in IT industry and also facilitate our quest for a better work-life balance. And lastly, to ensure that we encourage women students to choose IT as a preferred choice of career. We have been quite busy through the year. A quick summary of the various events during the year that we have been putting together. So this is our calendar for the year 2018-2019. In April 2018, we had our anniversary event, much like the event that we are having now. So last year we had it in April. Yeah, it's bigger now. No. Not going back. Yeah, this is fine. And the theme was on Press for Progress. Subsequently, in June 2018, we had a panel discussion on empowerment is more than education. So what does empowerment really mean? EWIT brought together a mix of speakers who are in the business of empowering students, employees, and the underprivileged. We heard them talk about what is empowerment, who needs it, and why and how empowerment can be successful. We also showcased a few live examples of truly empowered individuals. In August, we had a program on top skills needed for digital transformation. So, digital transformation is something that everyone is very interested in, and all organizations, every vertical and functional area is experiencing digital transformation. So we put together a program. What are the skills? Is it agility? Is it virtual collaboration? What is it that is needed for succeeding in a company that is undergoing digital transformation? September, we had 2 events. First was a quiz that we did, so it's not all just serious stuff that we do. We had a quiz master and we conducted a quiz, some fun and frolic in the quiz that we did. And we also had an orientation of POSH and women's safety. So this was a flagship kind of event that we did last year, September. And the objective of this course was to create awareness among the students and faculty of MIT campus, Anna University, on what constitutes sexual harassment, how to handle situations, what is unaccepted behavior, and also educations on the provisions of the Act. Around 600 students in their first year of engineering study, both men and women, and 10 faculty members were covered under this program. The program was conducted for 2 weeks, and members from EWIT, the forum that I'm the president of, we went and conducted this session. So this received a lot of appreciation. In November 2019, we had another event on a role model. So the kind of events, to give you a little background of the kind of events that we do at EWIT, we focus predominantly either on leadership or technology. So top skills needed in the digital transformation, that was one such example. We also do role model series. So under the role model banner, we did something known as the New Plan A, where we had 2 eminent speakers speak about what women can do to re-equip themselves during a midlife break and what kind of interventions will help in her getting back to work. In December, we did a workshop on life skills. This was done in partnership with Global Adjustments, and we focused on 2 life skills we felt were very important: self-esteem and resilience, how to bounce back. In January, we did a program on leadership development in the digital age. So digital transformation has ushered in a new business paradigm. How prepared are the leaders in your organization to rise to the challenge of the digital economy? March is a busy month for us. We have International Women's Day, and most of us from EWIT go and participate in various companies speaking about women empowerment and so on. And we also had our EWIT Excellence Awards. This is something that we do once a year. You will hear more about it later on. We had 2 topics for which people had to give their insights on. One was on how to future-proof, like how to upskill, reskill for the 21st century, what are the skills needed, and also measurable outcomes. How do you measure outcomes? And that was the other topic. So this was the year in passing. Balance for better. Okay, now for a theme of today's anniversary celebrations, balance for better. What does this mean? Balance drives a better working world, a balanced workforce with equal representation for men and women at all levels. Work-life balance, which allows us to be more productive, a balance in our investments, balance in our investment portfolio to mitigate risk. So it's all about balancing. I'm sure all of us agree in striking a balance in everything and everything we do. But personally, what should I do to achieve this? Where do I start? I started thinking. We women are good at juggling. Every day we juggle between several roles and innumerable responsibilities. Let me tell you about my juggling act to be here today. I have a job. I told my boss about EWIT and made it a CSR activity so I could be here. I have my aged mother at home. I work from home. So that's some juggling I had to do to get a job like that. But told my health to double up her vigil and I will make up for it. I have my team meeting every Thursday and I have to reschedule it to be here and so on. So you see, the list is endless. I'm sure all of us present here did some juggling act, or shall we say a balancing act to be here, didn't we? That's why I love the theme of this year's International Women's Day, Balance for Better. Our pursuit to empower women is all about achieving balance. A balance in the workforce, a balance in representation at the legislature, a balance in the judiciary, a balance in the boardrooms, a balance in our household chores. To make this happen faster, we need the support of everyone, men especially. Should pitch in their might to make it happen, and we should win them over for our cause. So how do we do it? As always I say, let us start at home. I've always believed the change we want to see should begin at home and start with us. Last year when I spoke about my take on diversity and inclusion, I told you that it should start with me at home. I said I would strive to achieve gender neutrality at home, make my son treat other women as equal, treat my daughter-in-law no different from my daughter and so on. At that time, I also said that I hadn't figured out how to deal with the husband, and I would come up with that, with something. Balance for Better has finally delivered his calling. Work-life balance at home is where he will pitch in. Poor man, he does his bit, but I must persuade him to do more. What is the use in having a work-life balance if you have to come home early and have to start it all over again at home, where the rest of the family are gaping at their respective screens? My personal goal for Balance for Better will be achieve a perfect work-life balance at home. Perfect could be a bit ambitious, but then we at EWIT are ambitious. Thank you.
Yes. Can you all hear me? Yes. Well, this is going to be a little juggling. Let's talk about Balance for Better right here. I'll have to speak and I'll have to have you navigate the slides. Is that okay? Okay, that's fine, Deborah. All right. So first of all, thank you for that warm introduction. It feels wonderful to be here. I'm really honored to be here, to be honest with you, because I'm still very jet lagged, and this is the time that jet lag sets in. So I'd rather be talking to you all than trying to fight jet lag at home, where my mom and dad are constantly feeding me something every hour, literally, ever since I landed. So let's come to today's theme. When I look around this room, I see a wonderful range of ages, and which leads to a natural assumption for me that we have a wide range of roles here. Some of you probably just starting your career, and some very senior roles here. And what also encourages me here is the number of men that are sitting in this room. And let's give a big hand to the men who are here with us today. Your support and your engagement is so important to us in this journey, so thank you so much for being here. And this year's, as Nirmala introduced, this year's theme is Balance for Better. The next 20 plus minutes, what I'd like to do is to share what it means to me. And, I want to also talk about my career highlights, how I have balanced for better, and how some of the leading companies like Intuit, Google, a lot of the companies in the Silicon Valley, what are they doing to accomplish balance for better? Are you with me? Yes. Right. So, when I first heard this theme, balance for better, I had to keep thinking about it over and over again. I had to keep repeating it because it just didn't click initially for me. But as I started thinking about it, the whole thing started coming together, and I'll tell you why. Balance for me is evenly distributing something. Sorry, did you have a question? Oh, okay. So balance is equally distributing something for me. It is spending and saving. It is leading and following. It is, just working really hard like all of us do. And at the same time taking time off to relax. Right? It could be the Chennai traffic, and it could be the wonderful people. It could be the heat that I was not prepared for. And it could be the fabulous food here. It could be anything. So I'm just going to make this a little interactive. Can any one of you tell me what balance means to you? Anybody in the audience?
Managing everything.
Managing everything. Would you give examples like spending and saving, leading and following? Can you think of what example comes to your mind first?
Anything personal, professional, everything. Not one example. I think in everyday life, we have to manage everything. Right?
Awesome. Great. Anyone else?
Work and family.
Work and family. That's actually a very good one. Yeah. Anyone else?
Shared responsibilities at home.
Okay. That's great.
Diet and exercise.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Yeah.
I was about to say gulab jamun and curd rice.
It's getting better and better. And you? Sorry. Yes.
Having a millennial kid and not keeping cool.
Wow. Yes. Anyone? Last example.
Managing an 18-year-old woman and a 3-year girl.
Okay.
Matching personalities, give and take.
Wow. Good one.
Yeah, fine. Having very strict mother-in-law and very flexible and understanding husband.
I'm not sure if anyone can top that. I'm sure everybody can relate to that. That was awesome. So balance is, as you all rightly said, right? It's what we strive for. And every day we wake up and we've got to make choices. And these are choices that make us who we are. And then when I started thinking about better is nothing, for me, it's nothing but improvement. It is, your attitude can get better. I can be a better version of myself. The situation can get better. It's all about improvements. And then when I started putting these two together, that's when I realized, my goodness, what a powerful phrase this is. What a powerful idea this could be. It is about balancing the diverse perspectives and experiences that we have that results in significant improvements of anything that we work on. So to me, this is a very powerful phrase, and I've been thinking a lot about, I've started becoming conscious about everything I do and how it applies, how balancing for better applies, and how I can make my journey even more improved and significant. So let me share some of that with you. Why is this important? Let's go to the next slide, please. Why is this important? It is, if you really look at this year, there is so much data. So you all have to, it's almost like a quiz, so pay attention because there are slides and I'm going to speak to it, but at the end of it, there's going to be a quiz where you all will have to repeat some of the data that I just shared with you because there's so much of data, so buckle up. So there are studies coming out, there is research coming out, McKinsey, Lean, and so many organizations are starting to put out this data, which is such an eye-opener for many companies that's starting to wake up and understand what is happening and what needs to be done to it. So how many of you are aware that in the US, and I follow this with a question, but right now bear with me, in the US, 28% of the technical jobs are held by women. 28%. Does anyone know what percent it is in India? What percentage of the technology jobs are held by women in India?
10.
Anybody knows?
10.
10 to 11%.
I read an article that it is less than 12%. So while I was feeling depressed about the numbers that came out in the US, when I read about this, I didn't know whether to feel, happy or sad. That, happy because it just means that it's an opportunity, that we can do something about it. The fact that we start measuring and start reporting about it means that we can do something about it. Right? So that's what gives me a lot of joy. What makes me sad is there's just so many talented and fabulous people out there, and what is stopping them from, contributing to the workplace. So let's go to the next slide. And so there is another study that came out where it said that 1 in 5 C-level executive roles are held by women. 1 in 5, and this is US data. So I'd love to know what the data in India is. And what is even more interesting is 1 in 25 jobs, or C-level executive jobs, is held by women of color. So that, this is relevant in the US. So let's talk about India. Does anyone know what is the percentage of women who make it to the C-level?
5.
Less than 5. Actually, it's less than 5. So actually, the statistic is pretty uniform. And let's go to the next slide. There's another study which said that for every 100 men that are hired, the number of women is 85. And then for every 100 men who are promoted to management, the number is 79. And before I go to the next statistic, there is a question that I wanted to ask you all. I've been asking this question in almost every talk I give, and the answers have been an eye-opener for me. Does anyone know the difference between a sponsor and a mentor? We are all of us work, and at work, we all have mentors, right? Does anyone know what is the difference between a sponsor and a mentor? Yeah, please, go ahead.
I can just give it a try. I think when you refer to a sponsor, it's more transactional, something related to cost, somebody who funds for your initiative. I think mentor is something that cannot be tangible. It's intangible, you can't measure the quality of the mentor. I think that's the difference.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
A sponsor is somebody who's actually going to be in that room and talk about you and ensure that you are the person being chosen for that next role or that next promotion. He or she, most of the time it's a he, is a person who's actually going to sponsor and say, you need to take this person or pick this person for the job. A mentor is someone who's through your journey. It could be a career, it could be just even otherwise, right? A mentor is somebody you go to kind of share all of your fears and you know talk to them, and they are the ones who know you well and they help you through that journey of life or in your career as well. So that's really the difference between both.
Fabulously said. Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah.
Somebody who advocates us, who understands our skills and value that we bring to the table.
So they're convinced of that value and therefore they're willing to bet on us. They advocate us for larger roles and greater accomplishments in life. Whereas a mentor may truly understand what our values are and what is our true potential to even do better. So a mentor actually helps us advance in our journey to achieve what we are really designed for. We may not be living that full potential, but the mentor highlights those and brings it up for us.
Excellent. Yeah, please.
A sponsor is a person who stays away and encourages you to go forward and do what stands away and encourages you to do what you have to do and what you like, while a mentor is the one who carries you forward and walks along with you.
Okay. Okay. One last, in the last row. Yes, please.
In my view, sponsor is someone who look for ROI, mentor who make you to produce that ROI.
Okay. Wow. Very young. Yes, please.
Yeah. Sponsor is one who sees what you are, and mentor is one who can see what you can be.
Wow. Okay. Wow. My goodness. Did I say that it is such an honor for me to be here?
So exclusive debate on this topic.
Yeah, I did. Your next topic is coming up, I think. So how many of you believe that a woman needs both a sponsor and a mentor based on all the discussions that we've had? By show of hands. Thank you. That is it. There is a very startling study that came out that said that women are 54% less likely to have a sponsor. The reason that having a sponsor is very, very important, I think you nailed it and several others said the same. Literally, in simple terms, in layman terms, a sponsor opens the door, a mentor helps you walk through these doors. Sponsors are there in meetings where you cannot be, where they are picking, they are voting for you, they are rooting for you, they know your strengths and they want you to proceed and they want you to do well. Mentors are people that will be with you throughout your journey that you can use as a sounding board, but they're not the ones necessarily they may not have a seat at the table where you may be discussed or you need to be, or your brand needs to be negotiated. So for women, not just for women, in general, when you enter the workplace, studies show that it is so beneficial to have both sponsors and mentors. And women don't actively go look for sponsors. And I'm not sure if it is intentional, but it's just not a natural, and there is more awareness coming. More and more companies are starting to invest in creating those programs where you be a sponsor. You be a sponsor for someone and you try and actively look for sponsors for yourself. It works both ways. And definitely more and more companies are investing in mentoring opportunities. So where I'm going with this is, women are less likely to go look for sponsors, and that hurts them because of the promotion statistic that I talked about. How many women versus men get promoted to management as a result. It definitely hurts them.
What is the nature of a sponsor?
The nature of a sponsor that's a great question. Right? So far, the way sponsors work, sponsorship programs work in a company is that leaders are asked to be sponsors for upcoming, real, promising individuals in the company. Right? And then the leader and this could be a management leader, it could be a technical leader, like an architect. These are people that know your potential. And they know you, they know your strengths and they know your skills. And so when they are in a meeting where some projects are discussed, they could say that, this person will be perfect, why don't we give them an opportunity? So that's what sponsors do. Journey, and it's been a roller coaster, ups and downs, but I have to say that the ups definitely made up for the downs. And I'm sure all of you have a very similar